What's going on YouTube? Today I got the next episode of Maximizing Your Potential on 2K. So I'm not going to call this one part 3 just yet. I'm going to call this one part 2.5. This is just going to be every jump shot that I use for all my builds. So I have 9 builds, all with different ratings and different jump shots. So I'm just going to show you guys the jump shots that I use and the requirements for them. So get straight into it. Let me see which jump shot for. This is my 79 3-point guard, and all he has is that 79 3, no midi right now. So this is what I've been using. I've been shooting pretty good with him right now. In the rec, I am like 58%, I believe. So here's the jump shot for low rating small guards. You gotta be under 6'5", at least a 79. So this is that jump shot. And then let's get into the next build. I'm gonna try not to edit this video too much because I really don't feel like it, I'm not gonna lie. But let's go to my first build that I made. This build is 6'6". I think he had a, I want to say 85 3. And let's see, what's the 3 ball? 86 3. So I wish I would have known how good T-Mac was, because you need an 87 for T-Mac, but that's besides the point. This is the first build I made once the game dropped. So this is the jump shot I've been using for him. Eric Pascal, Sadiq Bey, Oscar Base, 38, 62, 3-4 speed. And you see right there has pretty much a high release height, great release speed, decent defensive immunity. Time stability is not that good, but you only need an 84, and you got to be between 6'5" and 6'10" for that jump shot. So that's another good jump shot that I use. And now let's get into the next build, which I believe should be my shoot first point. Yeah, it's my shoot first point. So this one is pretty much just my all offensive guard. This is my Ja Morant type of build. So I'm not sure which jump shot I'm using. I think I threw Ja Morant's jumper in here just to check the ratings. You see 6'4", 90 midi, 88 3. So you can get pretty much all the good jump shots. You don't get Steph base, I don't think. I think that's at 92, I want to say. So if it'll load, which is probably not, there it is. Okay, jump shot, we're using 2. John Stockton, Ja Morant, Oscar. I really like John Stockton's base for small guards. If you can get that, I would go for it. It's personally one of my favorites. But here's the jumper, 3-4 speed, and that's the blending for it. You see it gets full speed, A defensive immunity, and A timing stability. Release height isn't all that, but it's still good enough to be able to hit your shots and all that. So that's why I like John Stockton's base. I pretty much use it for all my guards. But that's the next build. Now we're going into my lock, top lock, I call them. Call all my locks top lock because I'm the best lock. But now we got my hybrid defender, so he's basically off ball. If it's gonna load, I might have to go ahead and edit this, because this is what happens on 2K when you're just going in and out of builds. It takes a minute to load. So I'm probably gonna close app right here. All right, we're back, and I ended up having to edit this video anyway, but now we're going into my lock. Like I was saying, hybrid defender. I also made this build pretty early. You can see the creation dates on all of them. I made this build in October, so I think this one I didn't get the 87 3 for the T-Mac base, or midi, I mean. Yeah, I was back at 86. I really wish I knew what I was doing. Don't make your builds too early if you're gonna make multiple builds, but this build is still pretty decent. 86 midi, so I use, let's see, KCP, Tari Eason, and Oscar. I always usually put Oscar bait or one of his releases on, because it's pretty much still one of the best releases for me personally. You get the pretty good speed and pretty good immunity, and you see the release speed with this lock is all the way up. You need 86 minimum, and you got to be 6'5" to 6'10". So here's what I use for my spot up as a lock. And yeah, I don't know if I can check my stats and stuff. I really don't play city games. Let's see, with this build, Okay, I think this is for all. I don't know if it goes by build, but I would have to go into the game to show you my build by build 3-point rating or percentage. But I shoot pretty good on all my builds, so you can see these jump shots are pretty good. Now we're going into pretty much my ISO guard. This is what I use for my like steezo dribbling. So this should have a higher 3 ball, I want to say. Yeah, 90 right here. So we'll see what this jump shot is. I don't know why 4 is first. Yeah, so John Stockton base, like I said. Oscar release 1, and I use Michael Carter Williams. Well, really, I only use Oscar. So John Stockton base, 3-4 speed, 100% Oscar, and that you need a 90, and you got to be 6'4" and under. You get a max speed. Release height's pretty good, but at a B-. Defense immunity and timing stability A- again. So that's what I like. I like when I do a lot of dribbling, I like to have good timing stability, because that basically goes into play with stamina. So when you're lower on stamina, the higher your defensive immunity grade is, not defensive immunity, timing stability grade is, the more consistent your jump shot's going to be. So that's why with my dribblers, I try to get higher on the timing stability. Now we're on to my slasher build. Now this is when I knew what T-Mac base was, so I put this to 87, and I believe I'm definitely using T-Mac's base on here. So which one was it? So 2. Yeah, T-Mac, Oscar, Peyton Watson, and since it's only at an 87, I go 3-4 speed, 32% Oscar. With this one, you got to be 6'5" to 6'10", and minimum 87. So you get, like, T-Mac is always going to give you a good release height, especially mixing with Oscar. And just having Oscar, you're going to have good release speed. Defensive immunity, since T-Mac is one of the highest releases in the game, especially for your taller builds, so that's pretty much always going to give you good defensive immunity. And you see, has a good timing stability. So here's the jump shot for my slasher, which is just another good jump shot for, you can use that as a spot up to, or any tall build, 6'6". Like, that's probably the jump shot you want to go to rather than the one I showed you for my 6'6", because he didn't have T-Mac. So if you can get T-Mac, put T-Mac on. Don't worry why I have a WNBA build. I was just testing something out for video purposes. But now we're on to my ISO point guard, my comp point guard, I think this is. This is what I use in my comp PG settings. So I have a 97, so this is probably what you're gonna have if you're going for a comp guard. So I believe Patty Mills, I'm a starter 3, so I use Patty Mills. If you're not a starter 3, you can use Steph's base or go back to John Stockton. Those are three good bases that I prefer to use, but I use Oscar and Steph's mix. So those are the two blendings, 87% Oscar. Yeah, I have the 97.3, but this one only requires 87. So all you need is 87 and be under 6'4" and under, 3-4 speed, 87 Oscar. Like I said, this one, Patty Mills base is one of the best for small guards because of how high he gets and the release speed. So you get pretty good immunity, pretty good release speed. Timing stability is the only thing that's a little different, but since it's my comp guard, I'm not really dribbling like that. I'm taking pretty consistent shots. Like, yeah, I'm taking comp shots, but that's where defensive immunity is more important. So that's what you want to focus on for defensive immunity, or for comp guards, because you're going to be taking more contested shots. This build right here is my tall, like, he's more of a post player. I wanted to see if I can make my I think I called him my Ben Simmons type of build. So he has no 3-pointer, just midi, but the midi is an 87, I believe. If I can get to it, the game wants to freeze again. So attributes, oh, he has a 92 mid, so it's actually pretty good, but I'm probably using T-Mac if I had to guess. All right, so now that I'm back in here, gotta do even more editing than I wanted to, but like I said, this build has a 92 mid, so no 3-pointer, 92 mid, but as long as you have mid-range, it qualifies towards jump shots. Like you see at the bottom, you need the mid-range or the 3-pointer. So this is what I'm using, T-Mac. Once again, I'm starter 3, so I use Rudy Gay. You can probably switch this for, if you're not starter 3, you can go pretty much anything because it's 45. I'm not gonna say pretty much anything. I like Michael Porter Jr. 45, and then Oscar 55 at 3/4 speed. Since I'm shooting more middies, I probably want to get those off quicker. You can probably go full speed. Honestly, I'm going to fix it to full speed, but this is what I'm using for like a mid-range only type of build for a tall player. So I'm shooting at the post. I'm taking dribble pull-ups mainly. I'm not really taking spot ups. So yeah, this matters, but more important thing for this is my dribble pull-up and my spin jumpers and stuff like that, because that's what's going to matter more. But now I got one more build. I know I'm not neglecting the bigs. I had a other big man. I had 2 bigs, but now I only have 1. I had to delete 1 to make this build, and I really didn't like that big anyway. It was the 99 offensive rebound big. He was pretty much just inside. Like, he had an 82-3, but for some reason I just couldn't time the jump shot, so kind of gave up on that one. But this is my all-around big. You can see right here what the build is. And I got the 88 mid, 77-3. I honestly shoot like 70% in the rec and in pro-am with this build. So the 77-3, obviously at this point in the game, you guys know, doesn't really matter. The midi, as long as you have it, is going to matter more. So here's the jump shot I'm using. Michael Porter Jr. base for your bigs is kind of OP. I'm not even going to lie to you. This is like, it's pretty much T-Mac for your bigs. Like, look how high up he gets, look how high he releases it. It's not an A+ release height, but it's still a really good jump shot. So you can mix Michael Porter Jr. base, and I'm using Chris Bosh, which is another starter 3. I know, another starter 3 animation that you have to unlock, but I'm mixing that with Julius Randle, full speed at 22 Chris Bosh, 78 Julius Randle, and you need an 85 at least for midi or a 3. And if I had to switch this, because I wasn't starter 3, I would honestly just put AD on. It's another high release, but if you're starter 3, I still prefer Chris Bosh. Honestly, you can switch it to Bobo too, because not much changes except immunity. But yeah, this jump shot right here is actually pure chicken for your bigs. And Michael Porter Jr. base, if you're a big, try to get it if you can. And if not, I actually don't have nothing for you, because I struggle with anything lower than anything that wasn't Michael Porter Jr. So you should probably go to another video for that. But that's all I pretty much got for you guys. That's all the jump shots that I use. So it's just another quick one until part 3 comes out. I'll call this one 2.5. But I'll see you guys in the next one, and thank you for watching.